not very much in the way of supply either. But I mean, just not too long ago we were on 200 supply. We're now back to 60 supply. The Fanta here is on just 100 minerals and gas, pretty much. 100 minerals, 200 gas, 60 supply. Whew. Tough game, tough game. And I still can't see this game being anywhere near over. I mean, both players still have resources to spend, both have large armies. And yeah, even if a battle is won decisively, macro will just mean that it will only gain that person a little bit of a momentum. Whew, wait and see. But if I can say one thing, it is that tanks are needed. So we've got a couple of SCVs trying to get the most out of the Goliaths. Not a bad idea when the games are sort of becoming a little bit more lower economy. But tanks are needed, and I'm sure he can afford at least 1 or 2 tanks right now. He's got plenty of SCVs down here mining. And D-Dong's got this expansion here with plenty of mineral patches left. So it's not a matter of whether you can afford tanks, it's just a matter of maybe whether you remember to build them rather than just a panicked supply of Goliaths. And there are the tanks there from Fanta, so finally he's cottoned onto the fact that that's what he needs. He realizes at this point that his opponent just can't afford battlecruisers anymore. I'm just taking a look at the Ragnosaur creep icon, pretty cute. Yep. And so is the Scanted. A little bit uglier than the Ragnosaur, but not a very good environment space for these lovely creatures to be hiding. It's usually the desert where you'd find guys like this. But oh well. Here comes D-Dong with a couple of tanks of his own, trying to do who knows what. I think both players really just need to try and secure the middle. To be honest, I mean, get as many tanks as you can, head over to the middle, siege up your tanks just beyond the mineral patch, so on your opponent's side of the map relative to where you are, and then put a command center down, get those gas geysers, and just get straight back up to 200 supply, and that will win you the game at this point when the economies run so low. So maybe Fanta's trying to do that right now. Fanta, yeah, he is. Yeah, there you go. Fool predicted it. You guys heard it here first. It's Fanta putting his tanks in first. And getting 3 of them sieged up here. He's got to have the Goliaths and support. And after that's done, he should be able to bring in an SCV after he knows he's ready to plonk down a command center, and there we'll have it. Alright, and science vessels hanging out as well. Probably more for D-Matrix than EMP at this point, because neither players are using Wraiths or battlecruisers. But this is interesting. D-Dong has seen Fanta take the middle, and instead he's going in to take out the expansion down the bottom right, so that's actually a very good way of making your opponent pay for doing what was obvious and taking the center. Just attacking where he's created an opening for himself, because he knew that Fanta only had a certain number of tanks. So this is a very clever play by both players. Fanta's actually pulling back and dematrixing his tanks. When is the last time you saw this in any game? Dematrixing tanks like this are moving forward. Sure, in a TvP you see 1 tank being dematrixed, but dematrixing 4 tanks and using them to push forward. Now that is cool. How often do you see that? I guess this is one reason why the game is the Gosugamers Game of the Week. It has stuff like this in it, and apocalyptic, Death Grail worthy battlecruiser battles, of course. Fanta coming in and getting rid of an intruder, I think, unless he was just freeing up some more supply. But I don't think he needs to free up supply at this point. Now that he's got a need for more minerals, he's down to like 33 minerals at this point. Fanta still trying to prevent his opponent from gathering any momentum and taking the center. Fanta has actually got that command center up now, so he probably want to be starting to harvest from those mineral patches. But D-Dong is posturing around. He's actually outflanking Fanta and forcing the liftoff. So again, clever play by D-Dong, just delaying the game further and further until he can get an advantage later on. What are we going to do? Well, a deadlock once again. It's just been like the word of the match. Deadlock, stalemates, tie, draw. I'm going to be hitting myself if this game turns out to be a draw. I really want to see somebody win this, and that way at the end of the game I can say, well, this player, although he couldn't do things right for the entire game, he finally got it together in the end and pulled it off. And both players, I've got to take my hats up to them. They've been very staunch, very intelligent, and neither of them have made any serious mistakes so far. Neither of them have really dropped the ball this game. They've done everything they needed to. Looks like Fanta's going to camp his command center down just out of range of the center and sneakily take some of the minerals from the side. But what he needs is gas. When you've got like 1,000 minerals as Fanta does. Oh, and D-Matrix, then the tank's moving forward, moving just into range, and then he's going to get when you get like TvT firefights like this, it's usually the player that gets the sight off first manages to win by a sliver. But D-Matrix is really going to make a difference here, allowing him to get the kills. Notice also that both sides have upgraded their ground weapons to 3 and ground armor to 1. Normally you'd only bother with two weapons and 0 armor in a TvT, but because Goliath really came into play, Goliath fighting against Goliath, it's not surprising that these players used a bit of resources on more upgrades. So you've got that as well. Looks like Fanta's heading down the south too, maybe looking to outflank Fanta somehow, get some more kills. He's getting a little bit of mining done at the center, so this could make a difference later on. The game could come right down to the wire, just to a few units maybe. We've now passed the 1 hour mark, so this brings the game into the category of very, very rare replays that exceed an hour in length. Average game length for a game of StarCraft, I estimate, is probably closer to, 12 to 15 minutes. There's nothing being upgraded at the armories, so I think we can safely stay at 3 weapons and 1 armor. I don't think there's any particular need to upgrade another point of armor for ground at this stage. Both players trying to flank each other around the north and south, and both players being only marginally successful in that endeavor. Really glad that my voice has been able to hold out of it. I've been fairly well paced this game, taking a few breathing spaces and breaks. I can feel that sort of numbness returning to my face through lack of air, but I'm going to see this game through to the end. To the end of the apocalypse. No more death growls though, because that death growl, was too impromptu, didn't really turn out very well. Got a couple of mines still left over from Fanta, so he's got a little bit of intel from that. Maybe building some more mines around would probably be a good way to go, given the fact that he's got access to more minerals than he does for gas. Although, having said that, clicking on some of Fanta's building, he's got 300 gas and 600 gas and 300 minerals. So maybe here's a little bit more strapped for minerals than he is gas at this stage. He's mined out every expansion except for the bottom right, the 2 down at the bottom right. Looks like D-Dong has only got the top left and the 6 o'clock left. He's got a couple of patches here at the mineral only here, but he's only got 1 SCV added, and it's just about out of minerals anyway. And not too terribly much to say. Plenty of Goliaths. It's just that both sides just have so many units that neither person can really push in. It's going to come down to these very small skirmishes, long-range tank bashes. Looks like D-Dong is mimicking his opponent by getting some D-Matrix of his own there, which I've got to say, it seems like an innovative tactic, but it's a very effective tactic when you're in a game situation like this, a very sort of stalemate type thing with science vessels. The reason why you wouldn't normally see this is because players don't build science vessels in TvT unless there's battlecruisers involved, but because we passed the end game point where there were battlecruisers and the game wasn't won by the battlecruiser fight, you're seeing a combination of tanks and matrixes. And wow, look at this, actually coming down to 6 o'clock with D-Matrix dropships. This is really cool, actually dropping them underneath the turrets and not actually losing any of the dropships before the troops are unloaded. Wow, this is an awesome play, and this could actually break the game here, guys. We could see Fanta winning because of this. He's actually denied his opponent yet more resources. He could even bring in a command center and take the rest of the minerals from himself. That gas geyser is depleted, but beautiful play there by Fanta. This could be the knockout punch that he needed to finally just get an edge over his opponent. And I can safely say for the first time in the game, I think something decisive has happened here. And I don't think D-Dong was expecting that at all. That was really cool. D-Matrixed dropships, like 3 or 4 of them, and it's a rare situation. This is not cookie cutter stuff. This is not textbook. This is one smart StarCraft player going, okay, I've got an unorthodox combination of units here, and a rare situation. What can I do to stop this? In the meantime, D-Dong is pushing forward with D-Matrix tanks to try and blast his way through and with brute force, but look, it's not going to happen. Looks like Fanta's got too many troops to defend. Having said that, though, Didong is actually making a little bit of ground here. But Fanta's science vessels are in support and actually demetering his own defensive units, so nothing really is going on here. And you're going to see Fanta take the upper hand now, because Didong is out of minerals except for that one mineral only up there. He's lost one at least depleted gas geyser. So Fanta should be able to reinforce his tanks ever so slowly and get the win. Just comparing population supply, both players are at about 130. Both players with a similar amount of resources. But it's Fanta who's really taking the initiative this game. And back to what I was saying about that unorthodox move, the D-Matrix dropships. I mean, that was just cool. That's something you might see in a TvZ. But very experienced and clever and quick-thinking StarCraft players like these guys can come up with stuff like this and use it to win the game. It just shows that you don't have